Spoiler alert, this video has spoilers for Thor The Dark World, so you've been warned. So I saw Thor The Dark World 2 days ago now, and I've had time to think about everything about the movie and what I thought about it, so let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the movie chronologically, because I was going to talk about like certain characters and how that happened, but it was just so jumbled in my head that I think going chronologically is better. So the movie starts out, and you have some narration to introduce Malekith, and I thought that was fine, because there's so much information about Malekith that you need to know. There's no real good way to do it without narration, because if you try and do it like in the middle of the movie, or just through dialogue, I don't think that would work. So the way they did it in the movie I thought was fine. It was enjoyable to watch, to see what his backstory was and to see how he got banished originally. And yeah, there's some stuff on Earth going on, but you just jump right back into Asgard and you just go right to Thor fighting on the battlefield. I love that, how you just jumped right into it. And he's kicking ass on the battlefield, he's having fun, he loves to be in these fights, so it's really cool to watch. That's one of the things I really love about Thor as a character, the fact that he just loves to be in battle, and you can see it when he's on this field and he just comes right in with the hammer and smashes it down, knocks out a bunch of people. It was so cool. And when he knocks that rock thing into pieces, that was a lot of fun. That scene itself was really fun to watch. Then after Natalie Portman gets the ether sucked into her, Malekith wakes up and everything like that's going on. Let's just talk about Malekith for a second, because I touched on him in my review, but I want to talk more about him as a character and things I liked that he did. I liked Malekith as a character, as a villain for this movie, because he was menacing enough for what he had to do. His motivations might be a little bit, generic-ish, he wants to cover the world in darkness. Why? Because that's what he wants to do. I get it. But it was still enjoyable for this movie, for me at least, to watch, especially once he got the ether in him, because he had so much power in him, and then when him and Thor are fighting in the final battle, I'll get to that later. Overall, Malekith I thought was a fun villain for this movie. I thought he worked, especially when Curse was by his side too. Curse kicked a lot of ass and he was really cool. Let's move to Asgard and what happened there when the Dark Elves started attacking. That was a great scene, having them just come through, and before, like the first one that comes in, Idris Elba, what's his name, Heimdall just comes in and just kills it with a sword, but he can't stop all of them, of course, and they start coming in and just laying waste to Asgard. And Curse starts, freeing all these people in the Asgard prison. I want to know, why didn't he free Loki? Like, did he know who Loki was and why he was there, so he didn't let him go because he just knew what Loki might do? I don't know, maybe that's the thing that's making sense in my head, because if they were going after Thor's family and whatnot, that's kind of Loki's family too, so I could see why he wouldn't want to do that. And Malekith and his army comes for Natalie Portman, and Thor's mom, Frigga kicks his ass for the most part, but then she gets killed and Thor kind of shocks Malekith's face. That was really cool. I wasn't expecting that to immediately happen, just, out of nowhere. Thor just shocks his face. That was awesome. And I don't want to go into this too much, but the funeral scene for Frigga I thought was just amazing. It was visually, beautiful. It was just an amazing scene, having all the archers just shoot their arrows onto the boats. It was amazing to watch. This whole movie was visually a feast. It was just so amazing to watch. All of these realms look beautiful. All of Asgard looks amazing, especially when you get to see more of it than you did in the last movie. That was really great to see. And then at this point, Thor has to, free Loki so he could figure out how to get out of Asgard, because Odin won't let anyone leave. So the way they planned this thing out, I thought was great, because they talked in that round table, him and the warriors and Sif. They're talking about, oh, well, how are you gonna do this? And then they cut to how they did it. The editing was really well done, in my opinion. And once Thor frees Loki, he eventually gets down to his cell, gets him, even though Loki is looking like shit because, his mom died and he's upset, he just trashed his room. But once they get out and they're having their banter back and forth, that was hilarious. Like when they're just walking down that hallway and Loki is just, using his mind tricks to make Thor look like Sif, or to create one of the best cameos I've ever seen. When he turned into Captain America, I just lost it. It was fantastic. I barely remember what he was actually saying as Captain America, but I was just laughing so hard. It was so funny to see that, because, it helps with the mixed universe things. It makes you feel like, yeah, this is a sequel to the Avengers, because Iron Man 3 was kind of secluded in its own little world. This movie clearly was not. The banter between Thor and Loki throughout the movie, especially once Loki gets freed, I think That's the first time they actually are on screen together, so you know what, never mind about that. Once they are together and they're having their banter, like when they're escaping Asgard, he's like, congratulations, you've just decapitated your grandfather, all that, it was really funny. And one of the best scenes in the movie is when they finally get to the Dark World and they confront Malekith and his army. It was just like as soon as Loki betrayed Thor, like I was sitting there like, nah, no way, this is a trick, they're tricking Malekith. And I don't like to be that guy who's like, oh yeah, I saw it coming, but I did. It was still a really cool scene, because you know that they're tricking Malekith, and that was just awesome. And then the fight with Curse that they had was really cool, it was brutal, it was punching Thor into the ground, that was brutal. And then Loki gets stabbed in the chest, and you all think he's dead until that guy was walking away. Before I talk about the rest of what happens with Loki in the movie, I want to finish off the movie itself. Once they head back to Earth, and that creates for some really funny moments, like I said. Like when Thor's getting in the car, it's funny to see a god get into a car, and when he hangs up the hammer in the apartment, that was one of the funniest moments of the movie, by far. Getting to the final battle of the movie, it was a great battle. It's my second favorite final battle of all these Marvel Cinematic Universe movies besides the Avengers. It was just so cool seeing Malekith and Thor fight in between realms. Yeah, they added in some comedy in there, like Thor getting on the train. I thought that worked. It was funny. It created a little bit of relief for the situation. And once again, this movie is visually beautiful. Like when Malekith is summoning the ether during that final fight, and Thor's just, you know, walking through it, and he starts throwing those things that Natalie Portman made at him. That was it was so cool. And then he got crushed by his ship, and he's dead. I love the final fight. Now let's go back to Loki for a second. As soon as you saw the guard walking away on the Dark World, you had to know that Loki wasn't dead. And then when he goes to talk to Odin, I was like, oh boy, what's going on? And then the final scene where they reveal that Loki is on the throne now. I don't know what he did to Odin. I don't know. I think Odin's probably alive, but I want to see what would happen if Loki actually killed him, how Thor would react in the next movie. That's something I would be interested in seeing, but Odin's probably just like alive in a cell downstairs or something. But, oh man, Loki, he's so cool. Now he's on the throne. I can't wait to see what happens in Thor 3. Because they said Loki's not going to be in Avengers 2. So we have to wait till Thor 3 to find out what's going on with him and what he's doing now, sitting on the throne. And you know what? He's probably going to be able to do whatever he wants, because Thor said he's going back to Earth. And Loki said fine. So Loki pretty much has free reign to do whatever he wants now. Then you see Benicio del Toro as the Collector in the mid-credits scene, and he is collecting the Infinity Gems. Because when you first see it, when they give it to him, they said, oh, we don't want two together because the Tesseract is one of them and the Ether is another. That made sense. But then when he said, one down, 5 to go, and it's just like, okay, he's collecting them for Thanos now. This is making sense. This is moving the cinematic universe forward. I like that, but he is clearly a villain, so we'll see how that goes. Because I think he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. So maybe he'll get another gem in that movie. And the end of the credits scene, I thought it was just kind of a nice way to leave the audience. It left you with a smile on your face, having that beast run around in Earth. That was kind of funny. I feel like that's what Marvel movies are going to be doing going forward now. They're going to have a mid-credits scene that's really serious and furthers the plot, except for, you know, Iron Man 3. And the end credits sequence is just going to be something funny to leave the audience happy. Also, just a minor thing here, I really like the new logo Marvel has for the beginning of their movies. I thought that was really cool how it was 3D and then it went back into the logo. I liked it. So those are my spoiler-filled thoughts on Thor The Dark World. What did you guys think of the movie? If you want to talk about anything spoiler-related, go ahead, tell me down below. I'll write back because I really want to talk about this movie with as many people as possible, see what they thought. Write your beautiful comments down there and tell me what you think. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button down there, because if you don't, I'll summon the ether and it'll consume me and kill me. So, good luck with living your life.